There are certain rules that one must abide by in order to successfully survive a horror movie.
I met this 6-year-old child with this blank, pale, emotionless face.
Hi, I'm Chucky. Wanna play? They're here.
Welcome to the Horror God.
Hello everyone, how are we? Thanks for coming along to April's Horror Cut. I think this is like our 8th live podcast as well, so yeah, thank you for keep coming out. It is warm tonight as well, which kind of makes me want a nice tall glass of cold water. Although we did have some interference tonight from some crazies outside as well, who might be on some weird contaminated water as well. So all I can do is apologise for that. You might have also noticed, for those listening at home, that Steg hasn't laughed at any of my jokes, and that is because he's not here tonight as well. However, we do have a special guest. Can we give it up for Brian Fears Ghosts?
Thank you.
So Brian is our special guest tonight. Brian, do you want to say a little bit about yourself and your relationship with the horror franchise?
Sure. It's weird talking about myself, especially in front of a crowd, which is the first time I've done this, so bear with me. I run Brian Fears Ghosts on social media. I have a decent following, mostly from not following me, but following because I share a lot of clips and trailers and pictures of movies that people maybe aren't talking about and aren't getting a light shined on them. And yeah, I think that's pretty much me. Okay,
and what made you start the kind of reviewing and things like that? What made you go into like the horror side of it?
This is a little bit depressing, but I started off and just when COVID kicked in, and I found out I had ADHD, and I was like, okay, I want to do something because I feel like I'm watching a lot of TV and movies but not remembering it, like I'm on my phone or on a laptop at the same time. So I'm going to now force myself to talk about the movies so that I have to watch the movies and pay attention. And then it just kind of kicked on, which I didn't expect. It was more like a journal for myself, but then people started listening, which I didn't expect.
No, it's great, and it's great that you've found such a following that is trusting your reviews on horror as well.
I hope they trust me anyway.
they're still following. Oh, we got a whoop in the audience there as well. So for those that haven't worked it out that's listening, we are discussing the remake of The Crazies. What's your relationship with this film? Have you seen the original? What did you think the first time you seen this film? What did you think after watching it tonight?
So I saw it, I think when it first came out, or maybe on DVD or Blu-ray when it first came out. I thought it was fine. It didn't blow me away. Like, it was an enjoyable movie, not something I would rush to watch again. I'd never seen the original. I'm quite bad with older horror, which I know is not something that might get booed, but I think it's quite different, the original. It's more like Vietnam War focused, as an allegory, not like it wasn't based in Vietnam. So I liked it. I wouldn't have recommended it as this is a must-see movie, but that might have changed after tonight.
That's interesting as well, because I seen this film in the cinema and I didn't know that it was a remake. I was just went in blind and I was like, that was pretty enjoyable. I quite liked that, and it stuck with me. I've seen it a few times, and I was like, this might be one for the secret cinema. And then I watched it after we decided this is what we're going to do. I watched it at home and I was like, I've no idea what I'm going to talk about. Is this film good? You know, and I've started going, why have I picked this? But then, like, I seen a few people jump to the loo and jump for a drink and stuff. And they're like, "This is a really good film, mate. I'm enjoying this." You know, and I was like, maybe it's actually all right. Maybe I've done a good job here. So can I get a raise of hands in the audience? Whose first time was it seeing it? Oh my, that's like over 3/4 of the audience. Can I get a cheer if you've actually enjoyed it? It's more than I was expecting as well, so that is great. Yeah. Brian, I'm going to ask, I know The Last of Us isn't zombies, and I know 28 Days and 28 Years isn't technically zombies. But if we take that as like zombie-esque films, is this a zombie film in your eyes?
So I think Infection falls into the zombie categories. Same as like, this reminded me a lot of The Sadness, which I don't know if a lot of people have seen The Sadness, but when I was watching that, I was thinking it's very like that. But I think this is slightly scarier than zombies because there's still like something in your brain that you're like we saw in there where the mum and the son went after the sheriff after he'd killed the father. So that was clearly in their brain, but like that's scarier than just being a brainless zombie. So I would say it's a zombie film, but it's elevated zombie. I hate that word. Elevated zombie
There's
film.
that word. Oh. What about the audience? Would you give me a cheer if you would say that it is in that zombie-esque film? Yeah, I'll take that then. Yeah, it is then. So, I'm going to throw it over to you, Brian. Can you give me the synopsis of this film in 30 seconds? I'll get the stopwatch ready.
Oh, God. Okay.
Now, if it was me, I would just say that it's American trying to deal with COVID. But I think you could do a little bit better than that.
Yeah.
Go.
God. Okay. Chaos ensues in a small town in Ohio, I think it was. Iowa. Sorry, thank you. When a government plane carrying a biological chemical weapon crashes into the water body, which infects the small town and causes the majority of the people to become crazies.
5 seconds.
Oh, Jesus, that's 35 I reckon. Wish the clocks went as fast when I was doing planks. I've given up then. I'm way over my 30 seconds. So.
Okay, but yeah, you got there. Man.
I was going to be like a ragtag group, but I was going to...
Thank you.
Hello. I'm coming.
Figure it out?
Not Deidre or Nicholas. There was an empty gas can just sitting out front, and Bill, well, he was mowing the damn lawn.
Bill! Bill!
How long has he been playing a statue?
Couple hours now. Hey, Ben.
All things wise and wonderful.
Is he dead?
You know what?
What?
We're in trouble.
I heard something from the funeral home.
What did you hear?
Screaming.
Yeah, I would say it does fall into the zombie kind of genre, so much so that it's basically like the same kind of concept as like the Resident Evil games. There's an outbreak, they're going to bomb it, get out of the city, fight some zombies. And it is that kind of game-ish feel to it.
I have a question for you then. Just when it first started and it popped into my head.
I'm used to this.
Oh, sorry.
I'm kidding, I'm joking.
So I got like sort of Jaws vibes from it, with the sheriff made the wrong decision, the frustrated, although it's not a mother, it was a wife, slaps him. The mayor's like, we can't close down everything. So am I alone on that? Or?
No, I've got that written down actually, that, you know, you've got the mayor that doesn't want to close off the water, you've got the mayor that doesn't want to close the beaches, you've got the slap sounds the same. His reaction is the same as well.
That was a great sounding slap.
Totally. You know, I totally felt that as well. Like, and also just, he's a good sheriff, you know, you kind of, you relate to him, he's kind of got that good nature. One note I've got is, like, after he had to kill the first victim, he then can't sleep, and he goes out and sands some wood. Like a macho man that's brooding, right? But you kind of get the same thing with Brody, where, like, after some stuff's happened, he's, like, looking through the sharp books, you know, the sun's setting, he's like, I don't know what to do. You know. So, yeah, there's totally those similarities there as well.
Okay, good.
And also, Timothy Olyphant, I can never pronounce his surname.
It's just elephant, but Oliphant. Is it
Oliphant, yeah. I think it's funny, like, he's got these, like, just westerny vibes, like Justified, Deadwood, The Mandalorian, and then there's still those shots of him walking down the centre of the empty street like a western, and then him versus his deputy at one point, that standoff.
I'm surprised he's not like a bigger film star. But I also, when I see him in interviews, he seems like he's stoned a lot. So maybe it's just like, I don't want to be a feature film guy. I want to be like a TV series is fine for me, but I like to just chill. And
I was down in London actually, and I just randomly switched on ITV4, and it was him in the Hitman films. If anybody's seen that, yeah, I think it's quite good. He's like, I enjoy him.
Totally forgot he was in that.
Yeah, I think he's great. Let's get into the Crazies. Do you want to go first with your first positive point on it?
Yeah. So there was a line in this that I was impressed with, because in horror, I find a lot of the times... Actually, I'll say the line and then I'll explain why. So the line was, don't ask me why I can't leave without my wife, and I won't ask while you can.
Great line.
Because in horror, a lot of the time, it's the wife's hysterical and like, you're just... Nothing's actually happening. There's no ghosts in here. Whereas he's like, no, like, I love my wife and I will do anything for her, which doesn't happen a lot. Yeah. And that like stood out to me as a, holy shit, that's actually somebody to root for.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
It's great as a character moment, but it's also great as kind of like who would turn against their other halves and stuff like that if like an infection happened, you know, like
you're looking for a raise of hands.
No. Let's just go to like COVID. I remember like me and my partner Karen at the time, we had something on and I got COVID and she tested negative. She's like, oh, I'm going to go. I'm fine. And I was like, great, cheers, right? But then other things, I'm just going into like therapy now. Like, but I had to go into like an operation as well. And obviously I didn't know the date of the operation. And at the time she had booked to go to like Amsterdam or Prague or something. And then it came in and I'm like, cool, I've got 4 days in hospital. I'll just see how my brothers if they can help her. But I would obviously not expect her not to go. But it is funny, like when like illness that gets in the way, do you carry on and just save yourself, or you know, is it that family dynamic there that you're like, she's
it's interesting that we know like how what would happen to you in the Crazies.
On
your own.
Yeah, I'm just left for dead, basically. I'm just left for dead. But there's a few great lines in it as well. Some of them are like humorous lines. I love his line as well where they've got the guy in the cell and he's just staring. And he's like, it's the same goddamn look Rory gave me. And you're like, oh. And it is quite ominous as well. But even just lines in the film that help build character dynamics of the town. Like when he pulls up the hunters for having rifles out and he's like, hunting season's over. And they're like, yeah, we're just having a look around, just nature and that. And he's like, yeah, get the rifles away. It just tells you their relationship without going, we're all best buds down the pub when everybody's finishing work. You know, there's little lines like that. One of the other lines that I love is when Russell is shooting at the movement in the car wash. He's like, I seen movement. And then David's like, everything's fucking moving. Like, there's some great lines in it. When I put this on, again, I was like, I don't know what I'm going to talk about here. Is this film saying anything? Has it got meaning? Or is it just an entertaining film? And then I kind of looked a bit closer and tried to look at it from the virus point of view and who it's affecting and stuff. And I noticed that most of the victims are male. And they are, you could probably say, domesticated males. So, thank you. Just so like, there's the first one is like the first two are two dads, you know, and one is attacks at, you know, the town's baseball kind of community game. The second one then attacks his family at home. He's just a working farmer. We can tell because he's got a combine harvester as well. These kind of men have been like kind of domesticated to like the kind of small American town, and they seem to be the first people that's attacked, because if you even look at the hunters who find the body, one of them falls in the water and seems fine for ages. One of them's like an ex-alcoholic as well. And then think about like what they're attacking. They're attacking, you know, the baseball game, they're just coming out there with a gun, or they're attacking the kind of all-American family, white picket fence and housing. And then you've got the kind of... the first time we see a woman who could possibly be infected is this little pensioner after the riots, like during the lockdown. And she's just walking about saying, what is it she says again? Peter, yeah, is Peter here? And she's like searching the bodies. Is Peter here? Or did Peter call? Or something like that. And she might not even be infected at this point. She might just be like, just going a bit crazy with everything that's happening, or already have dementia or anything like that. So I think there's something to be saying there. It's like these men that turn first, and the women are actually A-okay in this situation.
Do you think there's something there with, maybe this is more my like dad's generation, but if they're ill and you're like, you need to go to doctors, and like, no, I'm fine, I'll get through it. So they've maybe got to that stage. He maybe could have been found out earlier, but he's just like, no, I'm fine, blah blah blah, and then he comes in with a shotgun, and it all happens.
Totally.
Or am I looking into stuff?
No, I think you're right, because like if we go to the hunters, like these are like they're kind of these like cold-blooded alpha males out like shooting squirrel or whatever they're doing out there. Like whereas it's like it seems to affect like the. We spoke about this kind of in the Amityville episode, where you could look at the original Amityville horror as a man that's under a great amount of stress that turns against his family. Like he can't pay the bills. He's losing his job. He's going a little bit crazy. You can kind of maybe do the same here with this film. That's like it's this kind of small American town. It's quite, as I keep using this word, domesticated, but I guess it's quite boring. There's no sense of adventure, and they start to turn. And we've got a question here. I'm just going to.
I was just thinking that part of it could also be like, who are you afraid of? And like as a kid, like upsetting your dad. Or like, oh, there's a group of guys with guns, like the hunters. It's like, who do you expect to act crazy? First of all, is men.
Yeah, totally. Because it's not until the midpoint, well, even after the midpoint, I think it's like an hour into the film, and the film's only an hour and 40 minutes, that we see the first female being infected. And you kind of touched on it earlier, like, David shot her family, she's taken his wife and unborn child, but also she can still talk. Like, she has a few lines which we don't really hear from the men, and I'm like, even the women in it have still got that bit of like motor function where they can still speak a little, whereas men are just crazy with their weapons as well.
Just like real life.
Maybe, yeah. But to go even into this kind of domesticated feel again, right? David, this is kind of a weird way of looking at it, but I'm just going to put it out there. David literally almost gets his balls cut off by the saw blade, and that just gets stopped as well. So I think there is kind of something about that. And even the Judy, his wife, if he just listened to her, he's like, Russell's sick. Like, we need to separate. And he's like, no, it'll be fine. Like, just listen to the women. They know what they're talking about in this as well.
Yeah, we'd be fine if we just did that, but we're too thick-headed. This is just a weird thing that I loved in this movie is the dragon, the pitchfork, the noise. Is it a pitchfork? Mm-hmm. Yeah. The noise that makes is just like it's chilling. It's like that nails down chalkboard or grinding your teeth. It's just such a visceral sound that I wish we had more stuff like that in horror. Loved it.
Yeah, you were talking about, before we arrived here, you were talking about how sound should be utilised a lot more in horror. Like, so we're speaking about Undertone, which is all about the sound design as well. I wasn't the biggest fan of the film, but the sound was really good.
I was a big fan.
Yeah. But it's funny you talk about the pitchfork as well, because I think that is what everyone remembers about this film when it came out. If I put that as a clue on the hints, that'd have been it gone. Like the crazy.
Strangely, the only thing I really remembered, because it was a long time ago, was the ending with the walking past the blockade.
Yeah.
That's what I remember the most. The pitchfork, obviously, I remember it because it's on the poster. But I didn't remember what was what the scene was. I just remembered there's a pitchfork. And it's just like it's proper slasher territory as well. Like
it does. It moves into this other kind of realm where is it a slasher film? Is it a zombie? Alex in the audience made a very good point that Neil, a lot of the scenes in this film are someone almost getting killed and someone coming in just saving the day, and there's so many setups like that. I'm not saying
is that not like Deus Ex Machina? Is that what that
Yeah, yeah. But it's like with the saw blade going towards the groin, and then Russell jumps in and stops it, pulls the plug. And then Judy's almost killed in the hospital with the pitchfork, and David jumps
So that's how
in.
you know it was directed by a man, because if it was directed by a woman, she would have saved the day there. She would
saved
have got out and done something, but guys to come in at the last second and save her.
And you're right, I feel like for some of this, and maybe some of the women in the audience can speak up about this once we pass the mic, but Judy's fine in this. She's fine. But she's not given much to do other than tell the guy that he's wrong, which is, she's right, but she needs a little bit more kind of agency on that as well.
Give Judy a gun.
Give Judy a gun?
Sounds like a sequel.
Yeah. What do you think of the performances in the film?
I think everyone was great. I think the standout for me, I can't remember the actor's name, I think maybe Joe Anderson, but Russell, I know like we all recognise him from Twilight, Breaking Dawn, I assume. No, just me?
Is he? I didn't know.
I was on Letterboxd earlier and saw it. That was his top film.
Right. Who is he in it?
I don't. I've never seen it.
Oh yeah, me neither.
But like he was great. Like it's such a hard thing to pull off to make like a sympathetic policeman, because especially apologies if there's any policemen in here, but he does it really well, and it gets to the point where even when he's crazy, you're like, oh fuck! If all the characters, why has it got to be him?
Yeah.
And also the girl from The Flash, I can't remember her real name, Danielle.
Is that the nurse?
I thought she was
The
a
car
receptionist.
wash. Yeah.
She was great as well.
Yes. Yeah, I agree. I think the performances are pretty solid. I actually think David and Russell's like relationship together works really well. Like that scene, you just know they've been working together for years. Like when the army stumble into the barn and there's that one soldier that's heading towards it, and one of them hits the soldier with a gun, but then they kind of like smoothly drag him into the back of the barn together. It's like military movement. You're like, these guys have been working together for years. And I think that's down to performance, not just choreography. You believe them. And then there's the lines where it's like, who's the sheriff and who's the deputy? You're the sheriff. Yeah, that means you're the deputy. Do as you're told. I just think that all kind of works as well. One thing that this film is interesting with is, I'm not saying the editor, but I think the editing choices kind of let the film down a little bit, because the film wastes no time in revealing the mystery of the virus, right? Or just what the government side of it. So I think it's the first scene after David shoots the guy with the shotgun. It cuts to like a satellite image of them being watched. And it's like, all right, something's going on here that's dodgy.
Yes, I actually wrote that down because it says like containment initiated or something. And I was like, finding out from their point of view would have made, or even when it's like the black van taking a picture.
Yeah.
Like just keeping his point of view, but like, what the fuck's going on here? So can I swear on this podcast?
Yeah.
Sorry.
You fucking go for it.
Good. Like him figuring it out, and the mystery would have been tighter than, okay, the government's involved. It's
totally. So again, this is what I'm saying. I'm not blaming the editor. I'm blaming the edit, because it could be producers taking over and things. I think that first satellite shot's in there to have that kind of sequel shot at the end where we see the satellite watching them go away. It's like, that's a cool ending. We need to show that beforehand, though. Let's just put it at the start, because I totally agree. Like the black SUV watching them, or even just the sheriff finding the plane. You're like, okay, what was in the plane? Finding the pilot, all that stuff. Because I think it kicks into gear when he tries to phone the other police station to pick up the transfer, and there's no signal, and then he walks outside and everyone's gone. I was like, you'd be like, oh, but because we know government containment, we're like, well, you know what's happening here.
Yeah, agreed.
And it's kind of weird that it just doesn't try to kind of keep that going in any way. What do you think of, like, if we're looking at them as zombies and it's to do with the water, what do you think of that, Brian, as in a concept, like a plot point, I guess, moving it forward?
If it was contaminated from the water. Yeah. I think that's a great way to do it. There's a film I've seen called The Bay, which is a found footage film. But
it's good. It's a good film, yeah.
That's the thing, but it's like a crustacean that gets in the water, and there's each the tongue, so that you don't get the food because it gets the food instead, and then you go crazy. But I love the idea of waterborne contamination, because like everybody needs water, so
totally.
like, 2/3 of the planet, if we're screwed gets infected.
Yeah, I agree, and like it's been done before. Like the Bay, I thought of cabin fever, which is pretty much the same thing. You know, the lake's contaminated, you drink it, you start to get infected. But you're right. There's something really interesting about the fact it's like the number one resource as humans we need, and what happens is if we can't get that.
So that's why when it went, it's airborne as well. I was like, no, just keep it water contaminated because, like, again, we all need it. Like, if it gets into the bottling or whatever, like, but again, it's keeping it contained in a small town, so they probably couldn't get into water bottling and all this kind of stuff. But
yeah, totally. But also, like, I feel like the film could have done more with it. I think there's one scene where they're searching the boots, and she's like, "We're gonna need water." And he's like, "I know." It's like you could do so much more because I enjoyed the film. I think it's a little too long. I think it could be 90 minutes. It's 1 hour 40. Not much changes as in stakes. You've got the Crazies, and you've got the army. And you've got some more Crazies, and then you've got the army. But actually, you know, when people go dehydrated, they start to go a bit crazy. They start to hallucinate. Their personality changes. You could play into that. Like, is he infected or is he just dehydrated? You know, and the only thing we get close to that is when the nurse/receptionist goes in the back of the car.
that gave me flashbacks to COVID when I was like standing in a shop. I was like, oh god, there's a queue and I need to cough and everyone's going to look at me if I do. Yeah, I laughed, but like it was a painful laugh.
No, totally. And the other thing with the zombies is, I think you kind of touched on it earlier, like their mentality seems to be still there in a way, which is good, especially with the women. And it doesn't seem to spread through bites. We don't see someone getting attacked or like someone coughing. It seems to be just, if you drank the water, you might be infected. But if they attack you in any way, as long as you don't die, you could still carry on, which is kind of a unique zombie thing there as well. But also, the zombies, if we're going to call them zombies, crazies, using weapons is quite unique as well. And I know since then, other films and games have started doing that. Resident Evil 9, Resident Evil 4, Las Plagas. I'm a big gamer, okay. But I think for film, this was quite unique. You know, like a zombie chasing after you going, oh, it's scary. But if it's, you know, driving a combine harvester or got
Did you say you've seen the original?
I have not.
Has anybody seen the original?
Yeah.
Is it the same kind of thing where they can grab weapons or...
Yeah,
sorry, everyone's
yeah,
nodding.
they can have weapons and they sort of can attack you and they're more human-like, but they're just insane and just come after you completely like that.
So technically, it's been done in the 70s.
So that's great, though. Yeah. No, but that's still really good. Yeah, and I think that's kind of, it just adds that extra element that I think the film does need.
Yeah, like on rewatch, I definitely appreciate it more seeing other similar movies that have probably similar concepts. Like The Sadness Again, which like, I think it's your deepest desire comes out. But now watching that, and I'm like, oh shit, that was kind of a bit of a trendsetter, which obviously was a stolen trendsetter, or a remake of a trendsetter.
Yeah.
Totally. So, as someone that's not seen it, would you class that as a good remake, even though you've not seen the original? Because I'm like, oh, what are the best remakes? I'm like, oh, the Crazies. I've not even seen the original, so I'm just full of shite.
Yeah, I've not seen it, but like, I think I get not mixed up, but I put John Carpenter and Wes Craven hand in hand, and I think they've got some really good original films, and I've got some pretty poor original films as well, but they're really great horror directors. And then when you take their original ideas, you get some really good fucking remakes, and you get some really terrible remakes.
I'm going to have to put you on the spot here. What are the good remakes from?
So for like Wes Craven, right? The Nightmare on Elm Street remake. No, I'm kidding. No, I'm joking. But Wes, like the House of Eyes remake is a solid remake. But this is one again where I didn't realise it was a remake. Like, I was relatively young when it came out, and I just watched it as a film, and I was like, that was pretty fucking terrifying. Then I found out there was a remake. I'd say this great remake, but ones that I have seen. So like, I like Zack Snyder's Dawn of the Dead remake because it's not a shot by shot remake. It's taking the concept of shopping centre zombies, changing up the characters, changing up the dynamic of the zombies. It's not trying to be the same thing.
His only good movie as well.
Yeah. No, I might agree with that as well. I'll leave that one with you though, just now, in case we get shot down. What about yourself then? Would you any other John Carpenter or Wes Craven remakes that you think are pretty decent?
Like you say, Hills of Eyes was a good remake. No. I've not seen the. I know the thing isn't a remake; it's a prequel to it, but same universe kind of thing.
I kind of like that. To be fair, it wasn't better, but I kind of like that. What about? I'm just going to put you in the spot here because I don't know when I'll get the chance.
Okay, I've been doing this to you as well, so that's fair.
Halloween, Rob Zombie, because we just released them. So, what's your thoughts on the Rob Zombie Halloween films?
So I might get booed here. I'm not a huge slasher fan. I think they are there's kind of like I've never found them scary, other than maybe Black Christmas, the original. Like they're all they're I can watch them and enjoy them. Obviously, Scream's different because it changed everything. If it's a supernatural slasher, I'm alright with it. What was the question? Sorry, I've gone way off board.
It's all right, that's okay.
Halloween.
It was just what you thought of the remake. I was going to go Rob Zombie because we just released the Rob Zombie podcast episodes, and I was going to ask you about what you thought of the new trilogy.
So I don't mind Rob Zombie's stuff. Like I like that really grimy, gritty stuff, but I don't think I needed to know what Michael Myers' backstory was. I didn't hate it. I thought the little kid was great.
He was great.
But
he was great.
Like I don't need to. Like I just sometimes just want my bad person to be a bad person.
Yeah.
I want to say baddie, but the Americans get me in trouble for calling people baddies.
If you want to find my thoughts on that, you can listen to the podcast. Yeah.
Smooth.
I'm going to go on to my next point on it, and just to take us back to the Crazies. And I think there's something really interesting about the community, the town, and the roles that our main characters play, and just the society as a whole in this film. So I think it's interesting that Judy, David, Russell, car wash girl, I can't remember her name, I'm sorry, Becca, like they play kind of doctor, nurse / receptionist, we don't quite know, and then sheriff, deputy, like these roles within society that are meant to aid and help. Then this virus takes over, and it's the kind of larger kind of institutions that take over and fuck up a little bit more. So like ISIS, the army, and but you've got the government, the army coming in. You've also got the mayor who's refusing to shut down the water, as we spoke about. I think it's really interesting that they decide that the best place to secure everyone is the community high school. You know, again, these kind of places that are supposed to aid, educate, help us grow are then kind of, I guess, the ruin of the town as well. And I think stuff with like this, you see films quite a lot of the time where the government come in and kind of just wipe everything out, and we see that in here. But it's like a tidal wave, like because it is like an institution that comes in. But then when you get those soldiers on their own, they're just as scared, they're just helpless, they're just kind of doing what they're told. And even at that point, we don't know it's airborne, but he's been told to keep his mask on, which I think is just a lie from the government at that point as well.
Is this you getting into your COVID again?
Well, no.
Can I just go back to the small town? Like small town America, from somebody from a small town in Scotland, it always seems really romantic. Like reading Stephen King books and Maine sounds amazing. I'm like, I've got to go and visit Maine, and then I watch the news, and I'm like, I'm avoiding that country. But like, I liked it. Thank you. Like, it just looks like a street, and it's like just shops down there, and then there's houses off the street, and like it seems so nice, and like, oh, I'd like to live there. And in this world, everyone's like really friendly and not what they'd probably be like in real life, but it's just something about it, and the fact that then a lot of bad stuff happens to them in this little town, it just it's going to sound like ChatGPT, it just hits harder.
Yeah. Again, like I said, that I'm like, what is this film trying to say? And I think you're kind of wanting something there. Is it like, suburban town, happy town that they'll turn amongst themselves, or is it like saying something along the lines of America doesn't really care about its civilians that stay there? Is that what it's trying to say? Like, or is it trying to say that everyone's... You know, like, but there's so many ways. Like, and this is where like I'm like giving this film an extra half point again. I'm like looking at it going, maybe it's so subtle that you're like, this is just a entertaining zombie film, but maybe there's a little bit more under the surface.
So when did this come out? 2010.
Yeah.
Like I don't remember. America wasn't that bad then, was it? Like news wise, like maybe we hear more now due to social media, but I don't think things were as bad.
I think as well, even
apologies if anyone's like a big America fan right now, but
well,
I'm out of here.
I'm losing listeners. I'm losing listeners.
Cancel this guy.
I also think a lot of the horror in this is in the daylight, which is quite interesting for a horror movie as well. Like you get films like Midsommar, which is obviously fully in daylight, but it's kind of more folk horror, which is my favourite. But this is a zombie film that's just, it's not using shadows that much for it. Do you think it works?
Yeah, one of my biggest wishes from filmmakers, take notes, is daylight stuff, because like we're already scared of the night, so well, just me. Like we know like what's in the corner and what's in the cupboard or whatever, but something attacking you during the day is much scarier. Like weapons, where Wong, no, that's his Marvel character, but he's running down the street in daytime, and that's so much scarier than a shadow running at you.
100%.
To me, anyway.
100%. Also, this film kills a child, and it's not on screen, but you know, at the start, the house is set on fire with a child in it, and that's quite near the start, and that's really kind of brave for a film to do and keep you kind of
another Jaws thing.
Another Jaws thing, yeah, actually, yeah, totally. Jaws uses the water. This uses flames, yeah.
Like the fire in this is really good. Like I don't like recently, like CGI fire is more common, and it doesn't look great.
Yeah.
Whereas this, I think, was real fire.
It looks real, yeah.
It looks brilliant.
It does. Yeah, just blow shit up.
Yes.
It looks so good. Just blow shit up. One thing I was going to say as well that I think this film does lack in is everybody's white, except, and his credit is the town pastor. He's not even got a name. So he stands in the background as David gets slapped.
I feel like that's probably quite realistic, though, because that's how they spread the fear comes from people that don't look like you are coming into your neighborhood. Foreigners are coming in, they're going to steal your jobs and all this kind of stuff. So I think these are the people that are probably more scared, because it's like we don't have any people of diverse.
Yeah. And that's what I was going to say is like, do you think it's a sign? That's what I was going to ask. Is that a sign of the times that the cast is mostly white, or is the film trying to say something about that? Like these like small American towns again that think they're perfect with their white neighborhoods, and actually they end up turning against themselves anyway.
Yeah, I didn't even thought of that, but yeah, I didn't even notice it, which showing my privilege here. But didn't even like ring to me that there was only the one black person in there. So yeah, I think you're probably right that it's like a perfect little town is now being infected by outside world, which is the plane.
Yeah, totally. I'd quite like to open up to the audience at the moment. Has anyone got any thoughts or anything they want to say on it? This is where everyone gets shy. Look. Yep.
So when I was watching it, I was trying to think, what does David sort of want and need? I'm going to go into the sort of characterization, because he seems to start with the same sort of thought process as he sort of ends with. And I was just wondering, did he learn any lessons throughout?
This is a screenwriter in the room here. So I would personally say that his want is to raise the perfect all-American family and be a good cop, and he realises that he can't trust the government or the people that he works for, and maybe that is his kind of, not need, but that is his kind of learning curve, that everything's not as perfect as what he thought.
Because in his head he's saying, okay, I'm the sheriff, deputy does what I tell them. So in that hierarchy, okay, government tells me what to do, so I have to do it. And then he's like, you know what? Fuck government, I'm going to go around them. So maybe that's his growth.
And that's when he breaks the water pipe. But when he breaks the water mains off, is maybe him turning against the norm, I guess, maybe. But I do get you mean it. Like, what does he learn except don't trust the government? I guess that maybe that's all it is. Which is why when I first watched this, I was like, what am I going to talk about? the characters are maybe like surface level, like you can't dig too deep in them, but maybe the film's saying a bit more with just the overall message, maybe as well. But yeah. Anyone else in the audience?
It's not really anything. It's just typical America. There's a problem, so we'll just nuke the place and move on to the next town.
It's just a way to deal with a virus, isn't it? Like, I'm surprised.
It's not even a virus. Just recently, I don't agree with this. This is a liberal city. Get the army in there.
That's true. Yeah. I don't actually know what else to say on that, because you're totally right. Like, as I said, like when we first started the episode, it's the plot of Resident Evil, but it's the water that's the problem. But what I would say on it actually is they don't the story doesn't use it enough as a stake. Like, they should find out maybe 45 minutes before the film ends that they're going to get bombed, and then use that as a plot device to get for them like a race against time. Whereas they're at the petrol station and then they hear a radio signal. It's like, you're already out. So actually, you're absolutely right, and maybe the film falters a wee bit. It should use it.
I actually disagree with you a little bit there, because I think finding out at the end is better, because finding out halfway through is like when it did that satellite scene at the start. True. So I'm like, I like the fact he found the radio, and he's like, what happens when it gets to 1 or 0? So.
Maybe you're right. Okay, maybe not the midpoint, but maybe somewhere through the second half. I just feel like, as we said earlier, it's like Crazies army. It just needs something else to give them a kick up the arse. And maybe it's not the countdown, but because I do think it's a nice reveal when they find all the bodies of the people that they transported out, and actually they're just killing them anyway.
What happened to the mayor?
I was thinking that. I was like, he is like Mayor Vaughn. He's gone.
There's a scene at the end, like where it goes to all the bodies, and you see like a silver bracelet, and I was like, is that somebody?
Do you think it's the mayor?
I'm going to pretend that is for the sake of it. But if it did anybody, it's probably that is. No.
Okay. Well, that's a good point. I was thinking, where is he disappeared to? Typical government, though, gets out.
I've got 2 questions. The first one, is there anything you think is significant in the doctor and the nurse, as in the carers, the nurturers, being women, and then David and Russell, the law, being men?
With their big guns.
With their guns, their massive guns, and managing to keep their balls. And then the second question being, is there something different in watching a 2010 film in 2026? So you're saying the masks, people are masked. Obviously, the first thing we go to is COVID. But the second thing that I think was really significant is what we're seeing in America recently, and also here, in the rise of ICE and reform and people protesting and keeping their faces covered. Is they're separating themselves from us to behave like this. And to me, that was really, throughout the film, was really obvious that everybody that's in by the army who's been sent in who are acting on this are all masked.
I'm going to let Brian answer this so as the podcast doesn't get cancelled. I'm joking. Do you want to go first? Because you did speak about some of this before we came on the podcast, and I will join in this one.
No, you're fine. I agree. Like, I might get cancelled as well, but I'm quite lucky in what I do. I've got a lot of American friends that are like do the same kind of thing. Like, I was at Austin 2024, and they're like, "Do you want to come back again?" I'm like, "No," because it's fucking terrifying watching what's happening on your streets, and it's probably not as bad as what the news makes it out to be, but. Like, even just yesterday in the news, and it's like, what the fuck is going on, man? Like, it's genuinely like a bad movie watching what's going on. So I agree that watching this now, I was like, oh shit, they do send in the army when there's like, and it's not even anything bad. Like, they send them to Portland, which is not exactly a bad city, Chicago, and thanks. I'm glad this is a left-wing podcast. Like, I agree with your I've forgotten your first point already because I've gone politics. It's scarier watching it now because I'm like, fuck, this could happen if, like, they would wipe out a small town and they wouldn't blink about it either.
And then I'll cut out what I'm going to say. I'm joking. First point, do we look at these films differently after COVID and stuff like that? 100% we do. Like, before we came on this podcast, I was speaking about, we did an episode on Resident Evil. Such a better film after everything we've been through. Like, as a Resident Evil film, it's shit, right? I like the film. As a Resident Evil film, it's not great. But if you look at it just as a film about AI turning against us, viruses, the government, it's actually quite a solid little film, right? On the second point, looking at a 2010 film, 2009, whatever, through a modern lens of 2026, I actually think these, especially American directors and American writers, knew this shit was happening, but they just couldn't spread the reach as far because, yes, the internet was a thing back in 2010, but it wasn't as big. Like what we're seeing in the news today and politics, Instagram, TikTok, whatever you want to talk about, it's probably shit like that was going on when this happened, and this was their way of getting out. Look at all the horror films up to do with Vietnam. It was a message. We just didn't see it. Or films that, like A Nightmare on Elm Street Part 2 is to do with, like, homosexuality, but they weren't allowed to just talk about that. So they had to find a way to bring it out through the world of film. This is just a wee kind of daft entertaining film, but there's no way the writer wasn't trying to get a message out there as well. So I think we do look at it through a modern eye, but I think the writers and directors were already trying to tell us shit, and we just maybe didn't notice because we were like, oh, kill zombies or whatever as well. Any other questions? Okay. Okay, go for it.
I was just going to say that I feel like it's at least in part a movie about the fear of the military industrial complex, and also I think that the first sort of people that are turned to crazies are mostly lower socioeconomic and mostly farmers, and the people that not are getting turned are like a higher education level and what have you. And I think that that's why maybe the mayor has like not yet been infected and stuff like that. And I think there is probably a comment about the disposableness of the lower classes in America, and like looking at it in a like pre-pandemic, but also post like 9/11 time, there was like already worry about militia and like what was not ICE then in 2010, but would become ICE and things like that. So I think it is, I agree with you in terms of some of the statements you've made about the American political context.
I'm definitely getting assassinated, but yes, yeah. No, I totally agree. Like, if we, this is so weird, I feel like we're in like some sort of political debate.
Do you have a big US audience?
We'll find out when I list numbers. What I would say on that as well, in the 80s and 90s, you would see like these sci-fi films and they would have touchscreens. But that's so cool, right? And then now we've got touchscreens. But there's something to be said about like films back then are heightened versions of what's going to happen or where technology might go or maybe where society might go. So yes, like you're talking about like ICE, like maybe like stuff like this, it's like we're not quite at ICE yet, so this is a dramatized version, and then it hits home and we're like, fuck, we're here. AI, Terminator is the same sort of thing there as well. And then with the lower economic jobs and things like that, like the farmer, I think the guy that starts in a boiler suit, so maybe you could say mechanic type job. And it's interesting because at the midpoint, the guy with the pitchfork is in a shirt and tie. And maybe it's starting to trickle up. They're trying to say it might start here, but it'll trickle all the way up to the mayor or the government, like as well. You can't stop it. We're running short on time, so there was some few other hands. Rob, thank you very much.
Bit of a weird one for me, really. Was I the only one who picked up on influence from perhaps 60s era witch cult horrors where there's a higher power that's in control, dividing, controlling, pulling the strings sort of thing?
Go into it a bit more. Do you mean like with the government?
Exactly, because in this one, the government is the one that's controlled everything. They took away the resources, water. They then also were keeping an eye on it, which is why I'm not too fussed on the editorial choice to include that early, because it gives you that impression that they're in control from the very beginning.
Yep.
And then making people, influencing everyone's decisions going forwards. But then, like, these people are being divided, and it's just forcing a division between the two sides of things, the ones that are infected, the ones that are not. Rather than it just being zombies, is it just two separate groups of people?
No, I get what you mean, actually, yeah. So I would say, yeah, I get your point totally with like showing it at the start. It's like, they've not got a chance. There's like, as you said, it's like kind of Pinocchio. And I guess if you're going to say like, okay, I think we spoke about this in another episode. I can't remember which one it was, but we kind of spoke about something along the lines of, the uber rich or the uber powerful will place something in our society that will make us squabble amongst ourselves rather than looking at the higher power. And I guess maybe there's something kind of there as well, where this like virus is maybe like turning society against each other while the Uber do what they want with their biological weapons, etc.
So do we think the biological weapon, that was its intention? Maybe not the plane crash, but the actual weapon.
Yeah, so the intention was to cause strife between people. That's what I'm thinking. While it wasn't meant to go down there, it's just an example of what these people can do.
Makes perfect sense. Like maybe it was we're going to send off into whoever America were at war with at that time. But that's
straight off somewhere.
Quick recommendation as well: Zombies That Use Weapons, Burial Ground, from the 70s or 80s.
I've not seen that actually. I've not seen that. So good, great recommendation there. Cheers. Any other final questions?
So what happened to the minister, and how did he know the guy was behind him when his eyes were sewn up?
Yes, I was going to bring that up. Yeah. Behind you. How do you know that, actually? Your eyes are closed. Yeah.
Incredible heating. Well, obviously, the guy from The West Wing, is it Aaron in The West Wing? He kind of said, we're building this to destabilize civilizations. So.
Is he in The West Wing?
Yeah.
He's big in 24 as well.
I was going to say he's
24, sorry.
Aaron in 24. He's always Secret
Service.
And
Kevin's girlfriend from The Office as well.
That's true, yeah. I think he's an interesting character as well because, again, we see him solo, like the same as the army guy as well. And there's fear there. He's like, yeah, we're fucked up. I'm trying to help, but there's no like. Okay, here's a quick question. Do you think Aaron from 24 would have allowed them to escape because it's past the incubation period?
He was my favourite character in 24, so he wouldn't even been caught out by this stinger. That scene pissed me off, by the way.
Why?
Like when it was like you're so close that he's going to shoot them, get a car, and then he throws the stinger across the road. I was like, fucking Russell, man. But obviously he was infected.
Yeah. But also, I really quickly, I know we're shy on time. David's character, Timothy Oliphant. Oh yes. Like he just pulls out his gun and he's like, "We're going to take their car." He did not know that was government. That could just be like a rich family in a black SUV. And I got annoyed.
Please don't care about it.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. What's that? Or was there? I never noticed that because I was just like, this could just be a family trying to escape.
It still could, to be fair. They could have taken the government car. We don't know. But I'd say police in the US.
I'm really losing listeners here. Jeez. To all of our one American listeners, I'm sorry. Okay, Sandy. Well, last question. We really need to wrap it up.
Short and sweet. What was your favourite kill?
That's great because that's written down here as one of the questions. So that's great. I'm going to open up to Brian first. What is your favourite kill or scary moment?
So my favourite, it's not the kill, but it was more the how it was pulled off was the car wash where the girl from The Flash, the way her body just goes limp instantly. I was like, holy shit, she's nailed that.
Yeah.
Across the throat thing. So visually, phenomenal.
No, I totally agree. I think for me it's the car wash as well. I just think it's a great set piece. Like it gives Final Destination a run for its money because when we put up the car wash hint, so many people guessed Final Destination 4, I think it is. But I actually think this is a great set piece. And I love how, I guess this is kind of humour, but the fact that the car keeps rolling and gets bombed by the helicopter. And I just thought, there's this really tender moment with them, and then just in the distance it gets blown up, and it's almost a way of the film going, yeah, you still need to move on. You just need to get out of here. So I thought that was quite good, yeah. Good question. Usually we open up to an audience member to do a quiz, but I'm going to ask our guest to be quizzed, if that's all right.
But can the audience shout in if I'm struggling?
If you struggle, the audience can shout in. Okay? So, the first line in the film is a song. What is the first line we hear?
I know it's Johnny Cash version of remake of something, but We'll Meet Again?
Yes, it is. We Will Meet Again. Nice. How long, roughly, has the pilot's body been in the water?
A week?
It is a week, yes. When David undoes the stitches on the town pastor does not get a name, his mouth, what is the first thing he says?
It's either he's behind you or behind you.
Yes, behind you. Yes. Rob, you're right. I don't know how he sees him. What is the pensioner saying as she's searching the bodies?
You pretended you didn't know this earlier.
I know I did.
Has Pete arrived yet? Something like that.
Does the audience want to help out? Did Peter call? Yes, yes. And what is the incubation period?
48 hours.
It is 48 hours. Can we get a round of applause? But I have a bonus question. How many times did Russell save David's life?
1, 2, 3.
3? Oh, it's technically 4, yes.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, technically 4. Rob?
Although, we don't know, because if a nuke hits...
Yeah, he's dead anyway.
He's dead.
Okay. What would you rate this film out of 5?
So I checked my letterboxd when I knew what the movie was, and it was 3. I rated it then, so I think I'd bump up to 3.5. More so because, like the person said, it seems to hit a little bit different now. So yeah, 3.5. Which, for any filmmakers out there, 3.5 is good. When I rate it 3.5, don't.
Especially for a horror movie as well.
Yeah, exactly. Like I would love if I made a horror movie, I'd love to get 3.5.
I'd love to get 3. I would rate it. I was free, like. As I said, like before watching it, I was like, this is a solid 4. Then I put it on again last week, and I'm like, this is maybe a 3.5. But then I think watching it in a room again tonight, and there was like some amount of jump scares that I've seen people jump in the audience. I'm like, this film's doing its job. And then everything was spoke about. I'm going to just barely give it a 4. And I didn't expect to do that, but after having a conversation, I'm going to give it 4 cups of contaminated water out of 5 as well. Would anyone in the audience just give a shout out? Would you just give it a 5? 4? That's good. 3? 2? 1? That's not bad. Oh, somebody's smiling there. They're hiding. They're like, oh, I'd maybe give it a 1. Somebody's like, oh, I don't know if I like that. Brian, what would be your creative recommendation?
About this? Or
No. Just a creative recommendation of anything this week. What have you seen, watched, or anything at all?
So I'm going to show a bit of love to a British found footage film that I watched recently called Loner, which is on Found TV for free with adverts or paid subscription. I don't get paid by them. It's a guy that goes into the woods by himself into a remote cabin that he won a getaway, and the woods start making funny noises. More things happen. It's awkward British comedy, then into horror, which we don't get a lot of British found footage films that are good. We get a lot of stuff you don't see. So yeah, Loner, Found TV, free for everybody in the UK.
We'll try and put a link in the show notes for that as well, so you can check it out. My creative recommendation is the Horror and Her podcast. There might be a few people in the audience. So it's another local podcast as well, all about horror movies. Does anybody in the audience want to say a few words about it?
So our dear friend Emma, who is a member of Final Girls Glasgow, runs the Horror and Her podcast, and she's not here tonight. But she features stories about women and their origin story. So the first horror movie they watched that really did it for them and turned them onto the genre, and it's well worth a listen.
Thank you very much. Can we get a round of applause? And on that note, Brian, thank you very much for coming out tonight to discuss the Crazies. Have you enjoyed it?
Yeah, as I said to you, I was really anxious about doing this because I've not done public speaking since high school. But yeah, cider and a nice crowd made it pretty easy.
Yeah. Where can people follow you and find out more about what you're getting up to?
At Brian Fears Ghosts on all social media.
Not Facebook though, because I couldn't find you.
I am on Facebook, but I have been limited.
Oh, okay, that's another
for unoriginal content.
Oh, hopefully you're back up and running by the time this goes out then as well. Can we get a round of applause for the audience? Our wonderful tech up the back as well. And the old hairdressers for hosting us as well. I'm still Gary. I don't have a Stephen tonight, fortunately. But if you like what you're hearing, you can follow the podcast on Apple Music and Spotify or other platforms as well. You can follow us on the Horror Cut Show on Instagram and TikTok, or the Horror Cut Show Facebook group on Facebook, where we say what we're going to do next, and you can leave your comments on it as well. I don't know what we've got coming out next. It might be this, followed by The People Under the Stairs. We've also done a comedy horror. We have decided to review Scary Movie, because the new one's coming out as well, so make sure you check that out. But thank you very much, and if you're liking what you're hearing, please leave us a review, because it lets other people know where they can find us. Thank you, good night, enjoy the rest of your night. Thank you.
We better get back, because it'll be dark soon, and they mostly come at night. Mostly.
I guess everyone's entitled to one good scare, huh?
We're friends to the end, remember?
This is the end, friend.